slightly different project than usual. I'm doing some hand sewing. So I'm assembling something. May have to stop this recording because my toddler may be trying to avoid having a nap today. On back to bed. Highly suspicious sounds. Anyway, so I'll show you what the rest of it looks like. No, don't grab onto that. Let go. Let go. There you go. Okay. So, this is the thing. It is a pocket advent calendar. So it's hung from a hanger so it can hang up. And then it's got a big pocket I can put like books or something in. And then there's smaller pockets on the front. And there will be 3 pockets. Okay, you get back into the corner now. Back in there. Go, go, go. Okay. So this is the large pocket. I've sewn the design. So this is on, I believe it was 14 count Aida. The pattern is from, over here, The Magic of Christmas to Cross Stitch by somebody. I'd have to move more stuff out of the way in order to be able to see the name, and I'm not going to do that right now. So I secured it to the fabric, and then I stitched ribbon on it. I've done the overcast stitching around the whole edge with a double fold seam, and now I am stitching some bias tape just over the top here, double fold bias tape just to hide this raw edge and give it a nice clean look. So I am using quilt clips for this. Been working on this most of the morning. The toddler has, been a toddler, so the amount I've actually been able to get done is debatable. So we'll see how much I get done now. This thread is not the best for hand sewing. I got it as a variety pack that came with a lot of very vibrant colors in a lot of shades to be able to match with whatever I need it for. Unfortunately, I think that this thread is more designed for machine sewing. I think it's even on spools that are supposed to go onto a machine. And for a really good quality thread, that wouldn't matter. But this is fine. It's not great. It's not, I have used worse, but it is very much not designed for hand sewing. So the problem that that is coming up with is that the thread untwists and frays quite easily. That wouldn't matter as much with the sewing machine because the thread is not passing a long length of itself through the fabric each time you do stuff. Let's just drop more stuff on the ground. Why not? Great time doing this today. Back up there. Here we go. So we have to grab another couple of quilt clips. This is a harder project for me to work on just because this does involve the use of a sharp needle. So how much I'm able to work on it when the children are here and running around and potentially running into me is much more limited. So you see I'm nestling the raw edge into the double folded bias tape. This is a fairly narrow bias tape. It is honestly easier to work with a thicker one, especially for hand sewing, just because you have a lot more space to secure it either by pins or by quilt clips, or I mean even tacking glue. That's what I've used on the other seams, but oh well. It's just here to give a nice edge. Go back to bed, little Dan. You need to be sleeping. And he wants to be tucked in. All right. You can go over here and look at the project I finished over here for a couple seconds. I will be right back. Back to bed, little Dan. You should be sleeping. It's your night. No, I'm not teaching you up. Come on, let's go. Absolutely full of beans. But if they don't have a nap, then they're really grouchy later. There we go. That wasn't too much of an interruption. So when I'm done stitching this larger pocket, then I will affix some 2 smaller pockets. I do have an example of that running around in here. Just a second. Here, so this is an example of it. So see, this is quilting cotton. It's just been stitched together much the same way, so that just gets put onto it. And then the kind of off-white fabric that I'm working with here is actually an old sheet. I had a number of old cotton sheets that I used at a previous job, and I am making some use of them. Because, I mean, it's getting a little bit threadbare. There's a couple little stains that don't really impact its ability to be used, but do make it slightly less suited for long term. Got a clip down there. The quilt clips are very convenient, but they don't have the same longevity as simple pins, because I mean, with many things mechanical, the more moving parts you have, the more points you have for potential failure. So I am filming this in early November. The video itself, I believe, will be coming out at the end of November. Well, we'll see how things end up going. I would like to get this finished for December, oddly enough, so that I can actually start using it with my children. finished my explanation about the thread properly. Anyway, the long and the short of it is that I would not, unless I was specifically going to be doing more machine sewing, which I technically could because I do own a machine, I would not buy this thread for the purposes of hand sewing again. Oddly enough, I've actually had a dollar store thread of all the odd things that actually worked quite a bit better. But once it's in the fabric, there isn't a problem. So it's just the working with it. So the bias tape is actually slightly thinner on this side of the fabric than it is on the other side. So pretty much as long as I'm inside of the bias fabric on this side, I am inside on the other side as well. Actually doing astonishingly good at not accidentally stabbing myself, which is quite something considering that this project has been buried in my stash corner here for several months and has not seen the light of day. So I'm actually quite out of practice working with a sharp needle. I've done a fair bit of cross stitching in the in-between time, but cross stitching is done with a relatively blunt needle. It is a blunt needle, it's just it feels in practice a little bit sharper than a yarn needle, but that just has to do with the size of the tip. This one is actually pointed. don't know if you could see that or not, or how well you could, but Shelty there just used his head to move a toy fire truck out of the way so he could lay down. I'm getting to a point where I'm not sure how much I trust this thread. So I'm going to put it under the bias tape. And I'm going to start another one. That guy goes into the pin cushion. How much I have yet to do. Bit of space for a tail. Definitely find cotton thread to be a lot more secure than this. Or a linen thread would be good too. But polyester is generally what you're looking at if you're looking for something primarily affordable. Excuse me. Lots of people are starting to put up their decorations, winterizing stuff. We had a fair bit of snow, but it has melted. I'm not too worried about the look of the back here because this is not going to be visible. a very long video if I keep going.